Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to talk. I'm Jeff Hall. I'm an oncologist in Leeds and the clinical director of DataCan. And here on a slide is the vision that we developed in our application for the DataCan Hub. So a plan to improve access to the existing data, which is very strong for cancer in the UK, but actually for those who try to access that data, quite hard to get to. So we also look to improve the quality of the data, and very importantly, we linked centres from across the 4 nations to improve UK coverage. And then rather than the simple structured data that many of us have been using, moving towards multimodal data, linking radiology, pathology, genetic and molecular data to the structured data. So how did we do? Well, like everybody, we reacted and responded to COVID. So in March 2019, we began to use 2 different data sets, one large linked data set that linked primary care and secondary care data to examine the impact of comorbidity on COVID outcomes, and then another piece of data. This was data on urgent referrals and chemotherapy activity, which is collected in the UK, but what was different here is our data was 2 weeks old. And with that, we were the first group to describe the really alarming reduction in urgent cancer referrals that happened during COVID and took a very long time to recover. And from that, projected what we thought were going to be the excess deaths for cancer patients. What we have also been doing is working very closely with NHS Digital to support the building, development and use of a national cancer trusted research environment. So very much done under the COVID COPE notice at the moment. This is the environment that is linking data for the whole of England, the specialist cancer data sets, but also the national data sets in hospital activity and primary care prescriptions. And using that data set, we are currently assessing the impact of COVID-19 on referrals, diagnosis, treatment and outcomes, but also the flip of that is what was the impact of cancer and treatment on COVID, its severity, and COVID's outcome. We have continued to work with commercial partners, so the cancer data buried within the electronic health records of cancer hospitals is extremely valuable to support drug development in cancer. And what we have built on is a number of centres working individually to develop multi-centre studies. So we now have Leeds, Edinburgh, Birmingham, Guy's and Thomas's working together to pull data from our EHR to a common data model, bringing that together currently in a single central data set. And we've been working with commercial partners in a number of clinical areas to support their work. So this is units deeply curating their data, going way beyond the quality that the national data is able to provide. I think a recurrent theme of today is going to be the pride in our PPIE work. PPIE is absolutely at the heart of everything we do. The PPIE group has the right of absolute veto on everything that DataCan does, so they are involved in each and every decision. And actually some of the publications that we have produced have been about our PPIE approach and hopefully moving towards almost a kite mark of PPIE approval for work before anything proceeds. We entered into DataCan with a commercial and perhaps an academic partner. So our commercial partner was IQVIA, and IQVIA were keen to bring a cancer data network to the UK, so a network of hospitals who wish to analyse their own data. So they have been building a dashboard of analytics that runs within a hospital to allow cancer hospitals to better understand their data. But then critically, to enable research, they've been developing an ability to match patients to clinical trials, not only active in the individual centre, but also in the region and nationally. And then our work with Genomics England has been to use the data within the 100,000 Genome Project, and they've been very helpful with a particular project that we're running from Leeds, looking at multimodal AI in ovarian cancer with the 680 patients who had a whole genome done within the 100,000 Genome Project. And we will use that data to link to the national cancer data within the TRE. We've been working with international partners. Mark Lawler has been very heavily involved with the European response to COVID-19. And on the right is a poster we had at ASCO this year, working with 7 ovarian cancer centres across Europe and South Korea to extend the complexities of common data models into multiple languages. So, with DataCan drawing to a close, what is the plan for the future? Well, the plan for the future is DataCan 2. And DataCan 2 will run alongside what we very much hope is one of the driver programs within the QQ2 for HDR UK. So Mark Lawler and Kathy Sudlow will lead a program that's described as Big Data for Complex Diseases that will work on the national TREs that have been established in cardiovascular disease and cancer. We will be able to use those resources to look at cardiovascular and cancer independently, but we'll also be able to look at the overlap between those two domains. What is the impact on the cardiovascular health of cancer patients who've received treatment? And what is the impact of a cardiovascular diagnosis on the treatment that we're able to offer to cancer patients? But we also look to develop, enhance, and build on our work with curated EHR work. So we're looking to extend that network. HDR UK DataCan has been a trusted brand which has encouraged and enabled clinical organisations to work with us in ways that I'm not sure has been possible before, to do these deep dive curated EHR studies that support the work of commercial organisations. An answer that we need, and we haven't yet resolved, is what is the opportunity to use the national TRE in partnership with commercial organisations. There is immense desire to use those responsibly, safely, securely, in a way that absolutely respects the public's desire for security. But once again, we think the trusted clinical academic brand of DataCan and HDR UK is the bridge between commercial organisations and those national TREs. We need to continue to develop the offer. So data curation, high quality data, is incredibly important in these studies, and we need to work with the best organisations who do that, and we need to build on the partnership that HDR UK have established with Flatiron, for example. We need to work towards common data models that work across the UK, but also internationally. And we also need to see if we can stop uniting data, stop moving data, and federate data analyses between different centres. And then we need to continue to work towards this multimodal data. We need to see if we can expand our offer to include these rich data sources that have the patient at the very heart of what we do and ultimately link patient-derived data. And with that, I'll let us all go for coffee.